What's up, everybody? It's Johnny, and I'm back today to talk about budgeting. Today's video is going to be an instructional video on how to budget. To me, budgeting is the absolute key to financial success. I'm going to give you all of my personal tips and how I personally budget. So, why do we budget? Well, first, it's really important to have a clear understanding of your money situation. You need to know exactly where your money comes from and where your money goes each month. You may think you know, but chances are you have no idea. Many of us want to invest. Many of us want to buy a home, buy a car, go on vacation, and much more. In order to do these things and to do them with financial confidence, you need to establish a budget. All right. Hopefully at this point it's very clear we have to set up a budget. So let's get into it. How do I do this? How do I set up my own budget? The good news is all you need to budget is access to your bank statements and something to write with. You can go old school and use a paper and pencil, but if you have Microsoft Excel, that's a great tool. If you're unsure on how to use Microsoft Excel, please make sure you read my description below. I have some tools for you there that may be helpful. Really quickly, I want to just say, before I break all this down, I want to thank every single person that has subscribed. If you have not yet subscribed, please click that subscribe button now so you do not miss out on any information that may help you, like stimulus updates and other crash courses on money and accounting topics. Okay, so I break budgeting down into two parts. Part one I call information gathering, where all you will need is your bank statements, Microsoft Excel, or a paper and a pencil. The second part of budgeting I call taking action. Let's start with part one, information gathering. The first thing I like to do when I budget is I like to look at my income sources and clearly understand where my income comes in each month. Then, at that point, I know how much income I have to work with on a monthly basis. Alright, so I'm going to use the whiteboard here to give you an example of what your paper could look like, or your Excel spreadsheet. So basically, what we want to do first is we want to categorize all of our income and then add it up. So for example, last month was May. So you're looking at your May 2020 bank statement. What you want to do is list all of your income sources. So what you'll see here on the whiteboard is income from W-2. That means your income from where you're an employee. 1099 income if you're an independent contractor, interest and dividends, rental income, any other income that you have. What you want to do is clearly list it and then add it up. Alright, so now you have a very clear understanding and you've listed and added up where your income comes from. Next, you have to take a look at your expenses. Many of us think we know where our money goes, but I've found out that when you actually get the bank statement out and you add it all up, you may be really surprised how much money you spend on certain items. Okay, so at this point when you're budgeting, what you want to do is take that same bank statement, the same bank statement you used for your income. So in this example, we're looking at May of 2020. And what you want to do is you want to write down and classify all your expenses. Try to be as detailed as possible. Here are some examples of some expenses and how you want to categorize them. You want to have your rent and your mortgage, auto costs, utility costs, clothing, loans, entertainment, groceries, and other food. Now, one thing I want to point out here is, and this will make more sense as we get later in the video, is separately allocate groceries and separately allocate going out to dinner and other food, okay? The essentials are groceries, non-essentials are other food. Okay, so where are we right now? You've gone through your last bank statement, the May 2020 bank statement. You've listed all your income sources and you've added it up. You have a total, okay? Then you've taken that same bank statement, same one. You added up all your expenses. You categorized them as detailed as you want, okay? And you've added all that up, okay? Congratulations. We've finished part one of budgeting, information gathering, okay? You have reviewed everything, okay? And you've broken down exactly how much income you bring in and from where, and exactly how much you spend and to what. Okay, now we have to move on. It's time for part 2 of budgeting, taking action. Okay, I'm going to hit you guys with 3 words right now that mean absolutely nothing to you at this point in time, but will very soon. Here's the 3 words: must, flex, out. Okay, one more time. Must, flex, out. Okay, so what do I mean by must? Let's start with the musts, okay? Musts, to me, are necessary expenses to survive, generate income, and that impact my credit score. Now, before I get deeper into this, remember, budgeting is a subjective topic, okay? There's some things that I may consider a must that others may not, okay? During tough times like what we've recently experienced with the coronavirus and cash is tight, your list can change, okay? Some things that you consider a must may not be a must anymore. At the end of the day, if this video encourages you to take a deeper look at your money and expenses, then you've already accomplished a lot, and I'm happy with that. All right, so let's bring out the whiteboard to confirm what I consider a must, okay? Again, to me, musts are expenses that are necessary to survive, necessary to generate income, and necessary to maintain my credit score, okay? So for me, my musts are rent, my mortgage, okay, utility costs, loans, and groceries. So this goes back to what I mentioned previously. I'm talking about the necessities, okay? That's what I mean by groceries. Okay, so at this point, you've clearly identified your musts, okay? So what you need to do is you need to add all your musts up, okay? Next, let's move on to the flex category. I consider expenses under the flex category to be expenses that are important, not necessary to survive, but add value to my life. These are costs that I have power over, and they can be adjusted and lowered without taking major action, okay? For example, I have mortgage costs under a must, okay? Mortgage costs can change, but you have to go through the refinancing process, and that can be a difficult process. I'm talking more about, in the flex category, I'm talking more about costs that you can change today. All right, so bringing out the whiteboard again to provide some additional clarity on this, okay? So flex items, again, they're important, they add value to your life, but they're not necessarily necessary to survive. So what are examples that I personally use for flex items? Clothing, dues and subscriptions, self-care and beauty products. As you guys can probably tell, I use a lot of hair gel. So when times are tough, I got to cut down on the hair gel usage. And then lastly, cable. There's a lot of alternatives to cable. Okay, so just like you did with your must items, you want to take all your flex items and add them up. Now it's time to move on to the last category, out, okay? At this point, you can probably guess what out means. To me, out items are pure luxury items that are not necessary to survive. When times are tough, like what we're currently experiencing with the coronavirus and cash is tight, these are the costs that I would cut out. All right, let's bring out the whiteboard to talk about out costs, okay? So again, outs to me are luxury and entertainment items. So I'm talking about fancy dinners, gifts to myself. Now I put gifts to myself because gifts to others can be considered flex or musts, okay? But gifts to yourself, they can be taken out during tough times, okay? Toys and games and other entertainment costs. Okay, now, just like you did with must and flex, take all your out items and add them up. So at this point, you have your income. You have your musts, you have your flex, and you have your out. From here, you make your actual budget, okay? Your income and your musts, they're not going to change, okay? Your income and your musts, they don't change, okay? Look at your flex items. This is where you take action, okay? Set a fixed amount of what you want to spend and remove your out items until you achieve your cash goals, okay? Some of your cash goals may be setting up an emergency fund, which I'm going to do a separate video on. Okay, so at this point, I recommend doing what you just did for last month for the last 3 months, because that will give you a really good picture of your expenses and your income. No matter how you classify your expenses, the hope with this video is that after doing this technique with budgeting, you will feel much more confident because you will have a clear understanding of where your money goes each month. Once you are educated on your spending habits, you can make decisions to improve your financial position and save money and just overall make better spending decisions. So here we go, guys. We're finishing it up right now. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, you found some value in it, please click that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And thank you again to every single person that has already subscribed. As always, stay healthy, stay sane, and I cannot wait to see you all soon.